Good afternoon and welcome to Rush Green for the return of the WSL live on the BBC. Today we're bringing you live coverage of West Ham United versus Arsenal. Kick-off in just under 10 minutes after a festive season break. The WSL is back.
Don't believe me, just watch.
Unbelievable bit of skill.
Miedemar has held her position and Arsenal are running riot.
Don't believe me, just watch.
Oh, so close.
Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch.
Stanway forced to go all alone. It's a second for Stanway.
Hey, oh.
Well, we're hoping for a repeat of the 7-goal thriller between these two earlier in the season. Arsenal came out on the right side of that. Both sides showing changes this afternoon from their previous league lineups. We've got a debutant in the Arsenal side too. Plenty of familiar faces in the West Ham lineup. Lots of former Arsenal players. Vivian Miedemar, obviously one to watch, but full of superstars, this Arsenal lineup these days. Well, this is how the table looks following the festive break. Arsenal's lead, a slender one, only on goal difference ahead of Manchester City after losing in Manchester just before the break. But they do have a game in hand on the team chasing them. They at Bristol City later today. West Ham nicely tucked in mid-table in this their first ever WSL season. Well, both these teams in excellent form. Alongside me is Jane Ludlow, the Wales coach. As we look at this game, it's kind of a difficult one to call in many ways, isn't it? West Ham with that thumping 5-0 win at Yeovil before the break, and Arsenal obviously suffering their first defeat of the campaign, and they've had an awful long time to stew on that.
Yeah, and it depends whether you look at recent form, i.e. before Christmas, or whether you look at the first game early in the season where there were 7 goals scored. So for a neutral, we're hoping that's going to happen again today. But look, West Ham have improved massively over the last few weeks, and obviously Arsenal have had a slip up. You know, they've started the season great, they've been unbeaten, and then came Man City and they lost that. But you know, for them, they're still obviously top of the table and wanting to keep progressing.
And as for West Ham, they've adapted really well to life in the WSL.
Yeah, you know, you look at the early season and it was always going to be tough for Matt Beard and his staff there, because they've literally thrown a new team together, new personalities. You know, the girls need to get to know each other. They need to build relationships on the pitch and figure out who each other are. And, you know, you've seen that happen really quickly, actually. You know, if you look at their stats and how they've performed in their previous games just before Christmas, they've done phenomenally well.
Well, we're going to have a look at some of the players to keep an eye out this afternoon. In terms of the West Ham lineup, Alicia Lehmann, somebody who's caught the eye in recent weeks. She's nominated for the WSL Player of the Month in December. Came in from Young Boys in Switzerland over the summer and has adapted to the English game pretty quickly. Yeah,
look, she's a star for the Swiss 19s team, has been over the last few years, and obviously he's getting regular game time with the national senior team, and you know, Switzerland have been a great team over the last few years. So she's a very promising young talent for them, and obviously for West Ham too.
Yeah, this was the brace that she got at Yeovil in West Ham's most recent game before the break. She's actually got 4 goals already this season. Bit of luck about this one against Bristol City. Big deflection, helping it in.
Yeah, athletic player and obviously very talented with her feet too, an eye for goal.
And in terms of Arsenal, a new addition for them this season, another Swiss player, Leah Valti. Not the same kind of player as Lehmann, more of a gritty kind of midfield player, but again somebody who's adapted so quickly, as you would expect for an experienced international, more than 50 caps, and she's slotted in to this new look Arsenal midfield pretty well. Yeah,
and look, what you'd expect from Leah, where she plays in centre mid, is she's the pivot for the team. In possession, she takes the ball from pressured areas and puts it into space so the team can keep building and look for pockets of space. Out to possession, she protects her backline, and she's done that immensely so far in the campaign, and for me has been one of the stand-up performers for Arsenal this season.
And in a team with so much goal threat, you know, that front three of Miedemar, Van der Donk and Mead, you need somebody who's going to do the dirty stuff in there.
Yeah, look, she breaks breaks up play. That's what centre mid's doing at top level as well. She's a national senior team player, many caps to her name, and she's the controller of the team, and maybe at the start of the season a bit of an unknown to people.
A bit of a surprise in the Arsenal lineup. Kim Little is back from the start today. Obviously, she's been out with this injury that she got against Chelsea. First game since October. Surprised to see her in from the start. We thought maybe she'd be a sub.
Surprised, but really happy for Kim. You know, Kim's a fantastic player, and you know, over the years, having played alongside her, I realised the talent she has and the personality she is. She's very driven, and you know, there would have been medics giving her targets, and she would have, I'm sure, hit those as quick as she could have. And the club will look after their players at the end of the day. She must be fully fit in a sense to start this game. Whether she plays 90 minutes or not, you know, is still to be seen. I'd be surprised if that happened.
Testament to her professionalism that she's been able to get back from an injury this quick, and as you say, I'm sure she was bugging the physios every
Yeah, look,
day.
she's a professional, and you know, she always has been, even from a young age, and very committed to want to grow and achieve, and she needs to be on the pitch. And for Arsenal, it's massive that she's back in the starting lineup.
We've got to have a word about Vivian Miedema as we await the arrival of the Arsenal team. We know she could break the record for goals in a single WSL season. She's on 14 already at the turn of the campaign. She signed a new long-term deal over the international break. Arsenal will be thrilled with that, obviously, but she's just been sort of unplayable at times in WSL this season.
Yes, very different this season to a previous season with the club. I think, you know, the coach now has obviously done a great job with regards to creating opportunities for her, and she puts them away. You know, yes, she does some great work herself as an individual, but the Arsenal team right now is very much a team ethic and working for each other, and those behind her creating opportunities for her to get the ball in the back of the net.
Gilly Flaherty leading out West Ham United, former Arsenal players, a fair few of those in the West Ham lineup. Somebody you know very well, having played with her.
Yes, very well. And Becky Spencer obviously following her, two Arsenal Academy kids from way back who I know very well, and it's great to see them still playing at the top level and still, you know, hopefully improving. Both young national team players, obviously England youth players too, and they're obviously doing very well for West Ham right now.
In terms of West Ham at home, 2 wins from 5 so far this season. They need to improve that, but it's going to be difficult for them to do so today. Is it a case of sitting back and almost playing like the away side, trying to contain Arsenal and hit them on the break, or is that just asking for trouble?
We didn't see that in the first game. You know, when they played at the beginning of the season, Matt Beard set his team out to press Arsenal and go after them. I'm hoping he does the same today. I think he'll know his players far better now. They'll know each other. And he'll know their weaknesses too, in a way, so he'll protect those areas as a team. Whether they do go high press or whether they protect space behind them is yet to be seen, but hopefully what we will have is a good contest today, and hopefully some goals too.
Do you think the break came at the wrong time for Arsenal after that defeat? Would they have wanted another game as soon as possible?
No, I think when you look at the injury list they were accumulating, I think it was probably at the best time. They wouldn't have obviously enjoyed the loss just before Christmas, but it's important for the group to regroup, I guess, and get people back on the pitch, i.e. Kim Little. And, you know, you look at their injury list right now, and there's some superstars out on the physio bench right now. So you look at them in the next few months, they're going to get even stronger.
Let's have a look at the 2 lineups then. As for West Ham, 3 changes from the side that beat Yeovil. Becky Spencer replaces Anna Morehouse in goal. Lucienne Reichhardt comes in for Julia Simic. Bit of a surprise that. And Rosie Committer drops to the bench with Vianne Sampson taking her place. Expecting 4-3-3 from Matt Beard's team to start. As I say, plenty of players who know an awful lot about Arsenal. Only the 2 who were in last season in the West Ham squad, amazingly, this term. 2 alterations for the Gunners from their last league lineup. New signing Yanni Arndt goes straight into the back line. She replaces Louise Quinn. The other change sees Kim Little return in place of Bailey Gale. As Jane said, lots of injuries for Arsenal at the moment, but still a very strong lineup. And that front 3 of Van der Donk, Miedema and Mead, pretty fearsome. Well over 20 goals between them in the league already this season. Simplistic to say if you stop them, you stop Arsenal there. They've got threats from all over the pitch. No,
but I think what Joe Montemurro's done very well so far in the season is he changes how they play. They might be the same players in those positions per se, but they change how they play, you know. They have great relationships as a midfield and a front unit, but they do change the tactical element of how they step on the pitch and attack against different systems they come up against. So if West Ham do go with a 4-3-3 today, which is what we're expecting, it'll be interesting to see how Joe tries to break that down.
And as an Arsenal legend yourself, 13 years at the club, do you feel like it's getting back to what it was in that glory period? A couple of years maybe in the wilderness is a bit strong, but maybe not playing the Arsenal way.
Look, I definitely sit here as an ex-Arsenal player really pleased with what I see now. I think, you know, the values have obviously always been there, but who are they? The identity they lost. You know, no criticism here for the coaches who've been in place, but I think maybe they didn't understand the Arsenal way. Now we've got Joe Montemurro who's come in and completely understood how this team should be playing and the philosophy they should have as a club and as individuals and as a team.
And in terms of West Ham in that regard, it's a brilliant opportunity for Matt Beard to essentially create an identity. As I say, only 2 players still on the books who were in the club in the 3rd tier last season. He can pretty much, under the guidance of Jack Sullivan, who's running things behind the scenes, but mould this team in the image that he wants. It's not an opportunity that a manager's often afforded.
No, and Matt Beard's a very experienced coach. Obviously worked within the English game with Chelsea and others in the past, went out to the US, and he's obviously recruited very well, brought some experienced international players, but also some young stars as well. He's got a mixed blend of 30-year-olds and 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds. And for him, you know, what he's done really well, he's come into a new group, but he's built on results, you know, and the team are building, and I'm sure he sits there very happy with where they're at, but he's a competitive guy. He'll want to go on and win things in the next couple of years, so I'm sure we'll see even more from this team going forwards.
So what's a realistic ambition for them this season? They start the day in 6th. Is it just staying away from the bottom and maybe having a decent run in one of the cups, or, you know, giving Arsenal a bloody nose, for example, today?
Well, I'm sure any of the clubs who came into this setup now at the beginning of the season would have just wanted to avoid relegation, but now you're halfway through the season and you can see how results are building and how your group are doing. I'm sure they'll expect more, and yeah, cup run would be great for them, but you know, he'll want to finish as high as he can in this league.
So it's Arsenal in their change colours who are going to get us underway here at Rush Green, kicking left to right as we look at it in the first half as the WSL resumes following the winter break. Whole raft of games at 2 o'clock, but it is these two who do battle in the lunchtime kickoff. You can see the personalised boots of Vivianne Miedema. And Arsenal will get things going. It's a short pass, which Jane Ross almost managed to pick off immediately. Well, these two teams, I mentioned West Ham might look to contain, but as we saw earlier in the season, defence maybe not the top priority for either of them.
Well, West Ham have tried a few different systems as well over the last few months. You know, they played a back 5, they played a back 4, and obviously they're going with their 4 today, and hopefully they'll compete well.
Decent sliding challenge from Rhea Percival, who we saw going forwards more than backwards against Yeovil before the break. Got a couple of assists in that game. And Arsenal, as you can see, already not shy in throwing players forward. Arndt and Williamson both lurking here. This is Bloodworth and Valti. Bit of space here for Van der Donk to work with. She can measure across. West Ham are going to spend a lot of time out of possession, I suppose, today. That can be physically and mentally tiring. It takes a lot of energy to do that and do it effectively.
Yeah, obviously what they'll have to deal with from an Arsenal perspective today is lots of bodies going forwards, you know, fullbacks both sides going and joining attacks. So the fullbacks for West Ham are going to have some work to do if their wingers in front aren't helping them with their defensive jobs.
And if West Ham got the pace to exploit, maybe if Arsenal do commit too many numbers forward.
Yeah, definitely. From the clips I've seen and from the games I've seen so far, they transition really well. They are looking to score goals when they pinch, especially in middle thirds of the pitch.
There's Lehmann. She's managed to win a throw-in. West Ham started the season with a goalless draw against Reading here. They squeezed past Yeovil by 2-1, beat Bristol City 2-0. And defeats against Chelsea and Liverpool. Ross's touch. She's very much the focal point of the West Ham attack, isn't she, Jane Ross? Going to be important that she's as good with a back to goal almost as.
Yeah, and I thought, you know, what a great signing to start the season. Proven goal scorer, national team player with vast experience, and she's proven to be a great signing for them. Interesting to see now what tactic Matt Beard goes with from goal kicks. Does he go after them? Does he try and stop them playing out? Does he allow them to play out and then get compact? Right now we're seeing a bit of a high press from West Ham, trying to stop Arsenal actually building and getting momentum.
Perry Mannion again preferred to Van Veenendaal in goal. Those two have been switching up in the league this season, but Perry Mannion seems to be the first choice. Referee, by the way, is Willie Finney this afternoon. Sally looking for Ross. Now she can hold it up, Jane Ross. Visali offered good support, good ball to her as well. Ross making her way into the middle, other support up there too.
Vian Sampson just getting the ball pinched off in central areas. Vian, history-wise, has been a centre-back, so backline player, so it's interesting now to see how she does as like a deep-line centre-mid role for West Ham. She's a great centre-back, young player again, English youth player.
Yeah, came through the Arsenal Academy, which has been so prolific in recent years. Flaherty forward, Ross again showing strength with her back to goal. Decision goes against West Ham there though.
That's about the third time we've seen the Arsenal midfielder on the floor, Falty, so there could be a certain tactic there from the opposition.
So Trevor Brooking watching on, West Ham legend of course.
Great to see some high-profile guys and people who've been involved in the men's game, you know, supporting the women's game and wanting it to develop. The more that happens, obviously, the better for the game going forward.
Yeah, it's been something that West Ham have been pretty hot on, actually, since they were granted a WSL licence. As Rafferty knocking one long. Williamson happy to leave it for a goalkeeper.
Be interesting to see how the partnership works today between Williamson and their new signing on, the Danish national team player who's on the ball right now, driving forwards.
That's not the easiest position to come in and make your debut, is it, centre-half?
Well, look, I think she's got nearly 80 caps for our national team, so really experienced player. I'm sure a very confident player. I'd imagine the position she plays, she's a leader as well and a good communicator, which should go well with Leah Williamson, who sits alongside her.
Came in from Lynn Coppings over the break. It's a 4-3-3 for Arsenal, but Miedema very much the spearhead of that, with Mead and Van der Donk able to track back when necessary.
Yeah, what you see from Arsenal with their structure, at the end of the day, Miedema she's a goal scorer, and you want her in those areas that she can take a touch and then finish. So you won't see her wandering too often into channel areas unless it's needed. Don't get me wrong, she can do that job if she needs to, but they want her down that central corridor, you know, receiving, holding balls up to bring people like Kim Little into play, Van der Donk. And then when crosses are coming in, she has to be in there to finish. But what Arsenal have done really well so far this season when they've had all their players fit is the movement around Miedema has been fantastic, and it's been something that opposition backline has really struggled to cope with.
Yeah, they've got so many injuries at the moment. Jordan Nobbs, Dan Carter, Jess Samuelson, Schneiderbach and Keme also out. Big players as well. I think West Ham will be reasonably happy with how they've settled into the game. I haven't seen Becky Spencer touch the ball yet. Rafferty looking for a give and go. Longhurst came in field instead. Now's an opportunity for Arsenal to break, with Visali quickly in there to win it back. Stamped forward by Hendricks. It's well won back by Visali ahead of Van der Donk. Rafferty lifting one over the top for Ross. Visali asking Lehmann to chase. Well, it doesn't look like there's any sign of West Ham just sitting out to try and contain Arsenal.
No, and obviously we'll see as the game progresses whether that's their downfall or whether it's going to be productive for them, because obviously the higher they press Arsenal, the more space they're going to leave behind them, or the more space they're going to leave between units. And, you know, as we've said already, and as we've seen so far in the season, Arsenal transition really well. When they pinch the ball, they go forwards quickly, and they will make the most of those spaces that are available to them.
And they're also a really patient team, Arsenal, aren't they, too? You think of the game at Everton where it was 0-0 until, what, 5 minutes before half-time, kept the cool and ended up running in 4 goals.
Yeah, look, they're confident. They've got to be confident when you look at the start they've had so far, and they believe in each other, and they believe in what they're doing, they believe in what the manager's asking them to do, and they trust each other, whether that's, you know, wait until the 90th minute to score, whether that's in the first minute they score.
Here's Ross. Miedema, this is where she can do her damage. Excellent sliding challenge though from Hendricks. Longhurst dispossessed. Arsenal threatening here. Valti getting to the byline, managed to get a crossover too, and Gilly Flaherty was there to knock it behind for the game's first corner and then to begin the inquest into how Valti was able to get that close to goal.
What we saw a glimpse of then was actually Arsenal's pressing ability. So we've spoken a lot about their in-possession form and what they do well there. But what highlighted the start of the season for me was how well they got the ball back. As soon as they lost it, they won it back. Or, you know, there was the hunger to get the ball back, get in possession as quickly as they possibly could again.
Spencer able to claim that. Really under pressure, mainly from her own defenders.
Interesting tactic here from West Ham. Obviously, Matt Beer would have looked at previous games of Arsenal and noticed probably that the goals that have been scored against Arsenal have been transition goals. So, you know, an area that they're really strong at, what we've noticed is they've leaked goals because of those situations too. So what we'll probably see from West Ham is to try and counter as often as they can when they win back possession in their own half. Can they get forwards quickly and utilise the space that's available before Arsenal regroup?
It's not unusual that, really, is it? If a team scores a lot of goals, they are prone to conceding because, as you say, you commit numbers forward. You leave yourself left at the other end.
It's interesting. It's probably one of the more disappointing things for Joe Montemurro, because speaking to some of the players, he puts a big focus on what as coaches, you know, we'll use different terms for it. We use the word balance, you know, a defensive balance, looking at if we did lose possession, wherever we are on the ball, are we going to be able to cope with the counter-attack? So, you know, is it about numbers? Is it about positioning of players? And it's something that he actually focuses a lot on. So he would have been really disappointed with some of the goals they've leaked.
Now then, Mead going down, like just inside the area. Referee had a better view than we do and decided Percival's challenge was firm but fair, and then a bit of afters from Beth Mead will give West Ham the free kick. Well, it'll be worth another look.
From first look, I did actually think it was one.
Didn't get the ball.
Yeah, a bit light to be fair, isn't it? Didn't touch her much. Who'd want to be a referee?
Spencer will take the free kick. Like with Arsenal, West Ham have rotated their goalkeepers. Becky Spencer started a career at Arsenal, joined Chelsea in the summer.
Yeah, she was number 2 for many years under Emma Byrne at Arsenal as a very young player at the time. But it's nice to see her now, you know, being at another WSL club and getting regular game time.
Now then, Lehmann in behind. Got Visali in the middle if she can pick her out. Ross making her way into the box too. It's Jane Ross, and it's 1-0 to West Ham. Beautifully worked goal, and it's the home side who strike first. The 4th of the season for Jane Ross. West Ham United 1, Arsenal 0.
Well, a direct goal if you're ever going to see one, straight from a goalkeeper's long kick. And what's disappointing here is no Arsenal players actually attacking the ball. They're waiting for it to bounce. There's a centre-back, that's a horror. But now, obviously, the run from Jane Ross, experienced national team player and finisher. What a great opportunity that was for her, and she wasn't going to miss from that distance.
Fabulous pick out from Lehmann too, because it would have been easy to play it in first time and hope that Visali, who was outnumbered, could get there, but she waited for the right moment, and Ross swept it in.
Yeah, exploited space really well. Arsenal would be disappointed because they haven't picked up runs of players. They're ball watching. Really interesting game now on our hands for the next 80 minutes, because you know, Arsenal as champions-elect, many thought many weeks ago, 1-0 behind, first game of the new year. Let's see how competitive they're going to be.
Well, they trailed against Brighton a couple of weeks ago and came back and won that handily. But West Ham have made an excellent start to this match. And Ross has given them the advantage. We'll see how that changes their approach to the game as well. So Arsenal looking to strike back straight away. Miedema in the middle waiting for a cross. It's beyond her, but it's picked up by Van der Donk, and now here is Miedema. Right place, right time. to make the block was Brooke Hendricks.
Defensively, West Ham look very organised so far in the game. Obviously, they're getting lots of numbers back, protecting the goal very well, protecting central areas really well. So midfield really compact and tight, not allowing Arsenal too much space to play through them.
Here's Arndt. Williamson's ball into the channel, just a little bit too much weight on it for Kim Little. Goal arrived too early for it to have any effect on West Ham's game plan, presumably.
Oh, this would be a manager's preference, this. Depends, you know, the strength of their players and Matt Beard, what his focus is. I think, you know, there'll be many managers. If this was a national team game, it could be very different. One goal's enough, generally. If you're defensively solid and you know, it's about 3 points, Matt could be in a very different position with what he wants out of his team right now. He wants them to keep plugging away. Maybe he thinks there's more goals in it. Right now, you see they're still high pressing. They haven't dropped back in. So definitely same game plan right now.
You're playing against the team who've scored more goals than any other in the league and who often run in 4 and 5 and on occasion 7 this season. Hendricks got just enough on that to see it back to Spencer. It wasn't a back pass.
What could be a bit concerning for Matt Beard right now is over the last couple of minutes, there's similar balls played from Arsenal, just in alongside centre-backs. There's spaces between their centre-backs right now, which Arsenal are exploiting. They're not making much of it, but he obviously won't want that to happen too many times in the future.
Spencer looking long, too long though. Williamson there, another one who came through the Arsenal Academy, at the club since she was 9.
Yeah, great competitor, Leah. I remember when she was about 13 years of age and she started working with me, wanting to improve. You know, when you see players who come to training sessions and they're desperate to get on the pitch and improve, they're the players you want. They're the players who are going to progress and going to get to the top level, which she's doing. And obviously she's getting national team recognition as well now with the senior team.
Lovely flick there from Ross. Sally with Lehman in the middle, Ross arriving too. Yeah, as a former Arsenal Academy coach, you must be looking out there with a great deal of pride, seeing so many players who you help come through the system.
So, you know, as a coach, probably the reason I do is because that's why you do it. You want to see people improve, you want to see people develop and achieve their goals. It's great to see so many of them out there playing at the top level these days.
Niedermar sending it in early, straight to Hendricks though. Here's Percival. Ball not too far away in Basildon, but the most capped player for New Zealand ever.
It's very much a multinational team. West Ham right now, he's recruited really well. Lots of experience, mixed bag of age bands, some inexperienced players who are obviously going to learn from those seasoned internationals alongside them.
Yeah, if you watch the feature, which is available on the BBC website on West Ham, you'll know that they've got an English teacher in for this season. I guess when you arrive, you quickly learn press.
I'm sure the players will just make up their own language anyway. When you're playing alongside each other, you you communicate in different ways a lot of the time, not necessarily but via your voice.
The universal language of football. Here's Ross again. Bisali in the middle. Attempt to get it to her was deflected. A bit of miscommunication maybe there between goalkeeper and defender.
So look a little bit suspect defensively right now. They look a little bit organised.
Percival walloping one in from deep, and Perry Magnon did well to judge that actually.
Yeah, because Jane Ross wasn't far from her and she was unmarked, splitting the two centre-backs. So is this, you know, it's a new centre-back partnership? Is it just a lack of communication there at times? It's something that they need to solve fairly quickly.
And the other big thing with that is it's not just about the two central defenders, isn't it? But it's the relationship with the goalkeeper which can be so key.
Yes, definitely. And obviously goalkeepers this day and age, especially national team players, should be good communicators and good organisers.
As we say, Arsenal have been switching up their goalkeeper this season. It's Arndt playing it forward. Here's Beth Mead. Niedermar working the channels again. A little hanging round edge of the box, Van der Donk far post. Here's Beth Mead. Sampson able to take it away from Van der Donk. And now then appeals for a penalty again. And again, the referee not interested. Let's have another look at that in a moment. Rafferty up to Ross, so strong with her back to goal. Lovely ball as well for Visali, who is just outpaced. Well, we're, what, 18 minutes into the game. I don't think Becky Spencer's had a serious save to make yet.
No, I think from an Arsenal perspective, they'd be a bit disappointed. I mean, watching them now, the tempo of their in-possession game isn't as quick as we've seen in the past. The movement in alongside Miedema isn't as good as we've seen. That's probably down to personnel as well. If you look midfield-wise now, they've got Valti and Bloodworth, who are more defensively minded centre mids. So they've got Kim playing as a 10, an out-and-out 10. Normally, or in previous games, you'd see Jordan Nobbs and Kim Little running in into pockets alongside Miedema. They have one less player doing that right now. It does make a difference because obviously those backline players for West Ham are dealing with less players than maybe in the past they would have.
Not enough in that for a penalty, is there?
No, not from the angle we've got, no. I don't think so.
Spencer again looking long.
Yeah, there'll be an element from West Ham that, you know, they'll play percentages. You know, this is an example of that. Why play the ball around in your own half and create opportunities where maybe you lose it when you don't need to?
Miedema on the spin. Oh, she's done brilliantly to get away from Hendricks. Rafferty's back there. Support arriving. It's Van der Donk. Can she get the shot away? Squared it back to Miedema instead. Surely an equaliser. Oh, what a block. Danger's not quite passed yet for West Ham. Bodies being thrown on the line. Brilliant defending from the home side.
Great defending from the home side, but how many opportunities did they have to shoot then? Frustrating from the Arsenal perspective then, because I think the Don could have taken that first time, Miedema could have taken it first time. And look, the West Ham defenders have done great 1v1 jobs there.
See, there was a foul in the build-up, referee wisely playing on. It's just that first chance that Van der Donk maybe had to hit it first time.
Yeah, because look, the more touches you take in the box, the more chance you're giving players to recover, the more bodies West Ham are managing to get back around the ball.
Well, she doesn't normally need more than a couple of opportunities. She's had 2 chances already. Emmanuel looking long this time. Mead emerging with it fairly according to the official. Decent ball for Little. Mead making her way into the middle. Miedema and Van der Donk in there too. And the cross too close to Spencer.
The interesting spell for Arsenal now, last couple of minutes. They've gone beyond midfield really quickly and got the ball up to their forwards because of the space between West Ham midfield and backline. Too much space there for I'm sure what Matt Beard would like right now, because Arsenal are making some goal-scoring opportunities because of it.
The spell of the game for the league leaders, but West Ham still with their noses in front, courtesy of that 11th minute goal from Jane Ross. Rafferty, one of those experienced players brought in over the summer, joined from Chelsea with Gilly Flaherty. Saw Matt Beard on the touchline there in the ear of the 4th official. Say you'd want to be a referee, I think the 4th official is the least desirable job in all of football.
Yeah, it's a challenging one, that. Any officiating job is a challenging one, and obviously I have lots of respect for the people who decide to do those roles, because they're obviously a main part of the game for us. And as we've seen the standard of players developing and coaches over the last few years in the women's game, we're also seeing the standard of officiating developing as well, which is great to see.
2 coaches close together. What an impact they have both had. Joe Montemurro leading Arsenal to the League Cup last season, having taken charge midway through.
West Ham will be pleased the fact that they're disrupting Arsenal build-up play. They're doing it very well. You know, obviously Arsenal have got through a couple of times in the last 10 minutes, but apart from that, haven't created too many goal-scoring opportunities in 23 minutes of play so far in this game.
And even though we're only at the midway point of the first half, opportunities like this just to break it up and kill a few seconds and kill Arsenal's rhythm, more importantly.
And this will frustrate Arsenal. You know, those players on that pitch right now will be talking to the referee already about speeding up play. But why should they? West Ham are a goal in front. You know, that's 3 points if that's the scoreline in 90 minutes.
Flaherty's free kick dealt with pretty comfortably. Here's Kate Longhurst. Asking a bit too much of Lehmann. It's a nice blend in the West Ham attack, actually, with Visali and Lehmann on either flank. Ross, great hold-up player, great in the box. Maybe not the quickest, though, but she's got those legs in and around her.
Yeah, the other two give a lot of energy. In and out of possession, they work very hard, both those players you just mentioned, Visali and Lehmann. As we see here, Lehmann pressing. She's an aggressive presser, too. You know, it's a fair press, but it's an aggressive one.
Miedemar's touch. Arsenal looking to break over halfway, and Miedemar's got some space to run into here. She's got Van der Donk in the middle. Others arriving too. Went backward rather than forward. Mead missed her touch. Managed to work it on though. This is Evans. Plenty of options to cross to. Another great West Ham block, this time from Claire Rafferty at the expense of Arsenal's second corner.
Yeah, and what we've seen there is Arsenal exploiting half a pitch of space. As we've mentioned earlier, you know, the higher the West Ham press, the more space they're going to leave behind them. And Arsenal are proving, you know, they've got pace in their team and they'll exploit that space. Whether or not they'll create goal-scoring opportunities is another thing, but they are exploiting that space.
Mead to swing it over. Much better delivery this time. Good header as well from Flaherty.
They're better defending from West Ham. They've changed the set play defensive organisation to what it was at the start of the season, where they lost quite a few goals from, and against Arsenal as well, from set plays.
Here's Mead. Still plenty forward for Arsenal here. That's a great ball as well, and the header into the far corner gives Spencer absolutely no chance, and Arsenal have their equalising goal.
I think Beth Mead must have had 5 minutes of set-up time then to pick out that really great, accurate cross, but she shouldn't have been given that amount of time. But what a great finish from Williamson, you know, back across goal, a hard header back towards where it's come from in the corner, and Becky Spencer not much chance of dealing with that.
First goal of the season for Leah Williamson, and the league leaders back on terms midway through the first half.
Great from an Arsenal perspective, really disappointing from a West Ham defensive perspective. Confusion there with regards to pressing in wide areas.
Spencer away. Feel like it's an important spell of the game for West Ham now. How many times have we seen Arsenal score and then really put their foot on the accelerator this season and take games away from teams?
Yeah, as soon as that first goal goes in with these as a team right now, it just builds that confidence, and then what you see is their tempo of play increases, the movement off the ball increases, and then they create more goal-scoring opportunities.
Sampson. Rafferty. There was no panic about Arsenal when they went behind. Now Mead. Miedemar up there with her, and look at Kim Little bursting through. Mead going for goal herself. Blocked before it could reach Spencer. Flaherty keeping Arsenal in possession. Here's Miedemar. No flag, looking for Little. And then Miedemar going herself, and desperately unlucky not to score a team's second goal in the space of just over a minute.
Good recovery defending there from the likes of Gilly Flaherty in the West Ham backline, but poor organisation to start with. You know, Miedemar getting that amount of space is not a good thing for them as a defensive unit right now.
I guess the other concern for Matt Beard is that his team aren't looking particularly threatening at the other end now, having started so well.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because you know, they're still going with the tactic of pressing fairly high on the pitch. They're not protecting space. They are actually they're allowing, as we can see right now, the Arsenal centre backs to have the ball, but then on the next pass, if the pass is forward, they're generally going after that. So it's middle third of the pitch they're pressing, which means they're leaving quite a bit of space behind or between midfield areas. And what we've seen from Arsenal over they tried to do it again then, is they're getting the ball into central midfield and then they switch and play with it effectively.
Just too much on that pass for Little. Well, still over 15 minutes to go, but it feels like West Ham could do with half time to regroup here. Here's Percival for them.
West Ham's build-up play is very different. Right now, a lot of the time it's direct, it's into the channel spaces early. And why wouldn't you? At the end of the day, you scored a goal from it very early on in the game. It might have come from the goalkeeper being direct, but it worked. So from their point of view, you'll go, well, why change? But what might happen in the game is actually their lack of possession becomes a little bit frustrating for them as individuals. You know, it's hard when you're playing without the ball a lot.
Here's Miedemar again. She turned back a great cross. Only one player on the edge of the 6-yard box waiting to turn it in now. There's Visserli. Under pressure from Evans, and Arsenal have won it back. Little fortuitously came through for Miedemar. And she stayed on her feet then. I just wonder if she'd gone down under Flaherty's challenge, whether she might have got a penalty.
Yeah, I'm sure when she reflects on today's game so far, anyway, the first 30 minutes, Miedemar, there's opportunities there for her. Maybe she's making the wrong choice right now. I'm sure as a seasoned national team player, she'll change as the game goes on. What West Ham have to prevent is her picking the ball up in those areas within the box.
Evans.
Again, what we're seeing is lack of pressure in wide areas from West Ham, and they need to correct that quickly because that's going to be a downfall of theirs if they don't.
Van der Donk's ball. Little will just be able to keep it in. Again, Evans has got space. She's won a corner.
And what we're seeing, you know, it's not criticism of any player on that pitch right now, but if you think back to what that situation was, then Visserli is the one who's trying to press in defensive third in wide areas. That's the winger on the pitch. So obviously, what Matt Beard's doing is he's compacting his back four as quick as he possibly can. They're protecting the goal area. So if you're the winger in this team right now, you've got a heck of a lot of work to do against Arsenal.
Again, it's Mead with the corner. Oh, and it's the exact same result. How about that? Absolutely perfectly flighted ball from Beth Mead, and Arsenal have come from a goal down to lead by 2-1. And again, West Ham just could not defend the set piece.
Fantastic connection there from obviously the new player. What a great game for her, you know, get on the score sheet in her first ever game for the club. And great delivery again from Beth Mead. You know, she set up the first one, she set up the second one. Fantastic delivery, and what a great finish too. Suspect defending from a West Ham perspective, but from an Arsenal perspective, great goal.
Welcome to the WSL, Yanni Arndt. Arsenal's two centre halves scoring within 5 minutes of one another. Identical goals. Again, Spencer absolutely helpless. The delivery from Mead on both occasions, pinpoint.
Fantastic delivery, you know, it's one of her strengths. It's one of the reasons, I guess, that she's in the national team outfit as well these days alongside her goal scoring ability.
And you mentioned it, Jane, it was the story of the game between these two, really, set pieces and crosses that neither could defend on the day, but it looks like that's going to do for West Ham again.
Yeah, if you were a coach with a big focus on defensive set plays in the first game at the start of the season, oh God, you'd have been pulling your hair out because both teams were poor at it. Obviously, they've developed now over the last few months as teams, but disappointing from a West Ham perspective because you think they would have learned from the first outing against Arsenal.
Here's Ross. Been a while since she's been involved in the game. West Ham haven't been able to get her into it. Rafferty. Perry-Emmanuel unable to take that pretty comfortably. Well, it wasn't what Yanni Arndt was brought into the Arsenal setup to do, to score goals, but there's no way better to settle yourself into life at a new club.
No, I'm sure the player's still smiling. Obviously, I can't see that close right now, but I'm sure she's still smiling. What a great debut for her so far.
say there was nothing that Spencer could do about either of those. With the first goal having come from such a similar position, is there maybe an argument that she could have come out and tried to claim that, or was it too far away for her to do that?
To be honest, if you look, well, the second goal in particular, they'll have a set play routine, you know, and it went from being fully zonal at the start of the season to mixing man marking now. And you look at players' responsibility outside the goalkeeper. I wouldn't necessarily look too much at the goalkeeper there. I think there should be responsibility for the outfield players to either block runs or make sure they're attacking the ball in the first place.
Rafferty managed to intercept that, but only see it back to Miedemar.
With regards to the first goal, when you think how much time Beth Mead had out in a wide area, I'd put more focus on actually trying to stop the delivery in the first place.
Hendricks.
What we see from West Ham build-up wise is when they play out left side right now, they're actually trying to build through. They're trying to build through units, playing to midfield or into centre-forward feet, and then trying to build from that. When they play out right side, so far in the first 30 minutes, they're going very direct. So kind of different tactics depending on which side of the pitch they're playing out right now. And that could be due to personnel and their preference and their ability levels. Or it could be due to Matt Beard breaking down the Arsenal team and looking at where they may be a bit more suspect defensively.
It's a great ball from Arndt. Here's Mead. Up against Percival.
Good 1v1 defending there in the edge of a box. And you'd expect that. You know, New Zealand national team player, experienced player, should be one of her best strengths.
It's a good matchup on that side of the pitch, actually, between those two. Little. Looks fresh as a daisy, doesn't she? Says she's been out since October.
Yeah, what Kim does very well, and you know, young players, hopefully they're watching her, you know, and they get to watch her play live. And Kim always looks like she's got time on the ball, and that's because of her receiving skills, you know, her ability when she gets the ball, when she's about to receive the ball, she's checking her shoulder, she's aware of space. And those players who do that really effectively always look like they got ages on the ball, but it's because of their receiving skills and the technique of being able to do that and the tempo that she's able to play at. So a lot of the work is done before she even touches the ball.
Rafferty up to halfway. Tend to go to the break. Joe Montemoro's team talk is going to be significantly different to how it looked 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll want more from them, though. There's certain aspects of the game that their levels can go up a few notches.
Here's Mead. Good build-up play again, no pressure on the cross. Came over from Van der Donk, but too deep for anybody to affect.
Yeah, that left area defensively for West Ham is a problem right now. Obviously, Arsenal are using different personnel in that area, but they're getting a lot of time and space to use. But if you break it down, they're actually creating that time and space because they put in a lot of bodies central forward. So the West Ham defenders are getting really compact to deal with all those bodies.
Lehman's done well to win it back here. Good covering too from Williamson. I feel she's going to be key if West Ham are to get back into the game. Everything good they've done so far pretty much has come down her side.
The one player who I was a little bit disappointed not to see playing today was Simic, midfield for West Ham. You know, played, I believe, every game so far this season. Really strong German international, really good on the ball, really aggressive off the ball. I'm assuming there may be an injury there because, yeah, she was one I was really looking forward to seeing today.
Yeah, she is on the bench, one of those nominated for the WSL Player of the Month for December. I wonder if Matt Beard might be tempted to make a change at half-time. See what they can do from this corner. They're first of the game. Rafferty's trotted over to the far side to swing it in. Excellent deliverer of set pieces. Sampson lurking edge of the box. Flaherty and Hendricks have come forward for this too. Oh, and it went all the way through, and any sort of touch from Flaherty, and Perry Magnon was nowhere.
Yeah, and what we're seeing from Arsenal with their organisation defensively from corners is kind of a semi-zonal, so they've got some zonal players protecting space, but they've also got some man markers trying to, you know, hinder runs as people are running in. It was effective there because there wasn't a chance on goal, but yeah, not necessarily maybe what they want.
Arsenal flawless until that defeat at Manchester City. 9 wins from 10 before then. West Ham, as we mentioned, yet to really click into gear at home. Here's Rafferty.
And I think the positive from Arsenal with regards to the season so far is from the games, you know, I've watched nearly all their games, and I think you'd pick out a different star player each game, which means, you know, as a team they're performing really well. There's a different player coming out at the end of the game, and you know, you're going player of the match, and that's what you want. You know, if you're going to win titles, that's what you need. You're not relying on 1 or 2 players throughout the season. You're relying on all your squad.
Yeah, and that particularly comes into focus when you lose players of the importance of Jordan Nobbs and Dan Carter et al.
Yeah, many clubs would say they're irreplaceable. Arsenal and maybe Man City are probably the 2 clubs, maybe Chelsea into that, who you'd say could cope with it because they have the financial status to be able to bring in similar caliber players.
Here's Evans. It's a terrific run. Found Miedemar. Mead will pick it up. Might be tempted to have a go. She did! Oh, it was almost a Beth Mead specialty. How many times have we seen her this season bend efforts into the far corner? That one was deflected on its way through.
For me, this area of the pitch is obviously the key area of the game so far. The attacking right side for Arsenal, the defensive left side for West Ham. Goal-scoring opportunities are being created because of build-up play in those areas.
Just brushed off Longhurst. Well, we know what's going to happen here. Keep your eye on Arndt and Williamson. Same far post again. Again, Arsenal able to win it. Sampson's headed more up than away.
For me, West Ham got to do a far better job of blocking players' movements in to attack that ball.
Second delivery not quite as good. Just looking physically, it looks as though Arsenal are a much taller team than West Ham, and that's certainly going to come into play, I suppose, in those kind of situations.
Yeah, and as coaches, you know, it's up to you how you want to set up against that. There's different ways to set up against that. You can be really aggressive in 1v1 marking situations, obviously being sensible. Or you can put a lot of numbers in the space that Arsenal are trying to utilise to attack. But what you have to do as defenders within a defensive setup, set play setup, is you have to attack the ball. You have to be prepared to be ahead on the ball. And right now, West Ham don't look comfortable to do that. Now, there's different ways to deal with it as a defender. I think back to my national team days and the things we were taught then and the things I took through my career. You know, it's about timing your jump so that you're just putting the opposition off. You're not fouling them, you're just putting them off. It's about using your body effectively to stop their movement in the first place. It's about jumping into them. There's so many different tactics you can use. Maybe as coaches, some coaches don't put as much emphasis on as well, we definitely do as a national team. We have to. You know, any opportunities that people get set plays against us, we have to be the best outfit we can be there, because goal-scoring opportunities, maybe, you know, for us as a national team, don't come around that often, so we have to protect our goal very well. So it's a massive focus of what we do.
Here's Evans. Half-time not too far away.
Yeah, what we see in West Ham right now is a little bit of a lower press. You know, they're protecting their own half a little bit more than they did in the first 30-odd minutes. But Arsenal is still exploiting that right-hand side. So even though they're dropping off, they're still exposing some space in those areas. And we can see Gilly Flaherty here having a little bit of a moment with her team. Obviously, she's captain of the team. She needs to drive them on and motivate them. She's disappointed with some of the aspects of their defending right now. As a, you know, a tough tackling centre-back, it's going to be our focus always. And it's really disappointing at times.
Let's see if they can defend this one better. Wasn't as good a delivery by Mead. Feels key that West Ham get to half-time just a goal behind. Can't see Arsenal letting a 2-goal lead slip. Such a bright start for the home side, inspired by Lehmann. One back by Valti. Far too easy that. Too much weight on her pass for Miedemar.
Good covering defending there from Julie Flaherty. Teammate Hendricks then just got caught on the wrong side of Miedemar run.
Spencer going direct.
Well, one of Becky Spencer's strengths has always been her ability to kick the ball.
Here's Ross, 2-2. Drilled it low into the bottom corner. Well, both teams have scored twice, and they've both been carbon copy goals. West Ham from back to front in a heartbeat. And just a couple of minutes before the break, Ross gets her second of the game. All came from Spencer's through ball. Visserly did really well to flick it on, and Ross, dead-eyed, just as she was with the first, low into the bottom corner, all square at Rush Green.
Fantastic goal from a West Ham perspective. Again, you know, it's direct, but who cares? You know, it's a goal at the end of the day. And disappointing from an Arsenal perspective again. Nobody attacking that aerial ball. But what we do see is a great timed run from Jane Ross, because it would have been easy for her to get offside there, but, you know, experienced national team player, knows a game inside out, and a great finish again.
I guess it depends if you're a glass half full or half empty. You can say we've either seen 4 really well-crafted goals or 4 goals where there's question marks over the defence on each of them.
Well, but it's why we love football, isn't it? There's lots of different ways you can score a goal.
4 in the first half here, and Arsenal looking for a third straight away.
This is definitely a fixture for any person who likes watching goals scored in a women's game. The Arsenal-West Ham fixture is definitely one to try and get to in the future.
Well, there was no intent there from Rafferty, but it's certainly a sore one for Beth Mead. I don't know where Messrs Beard and Montemuro start with their half-time team talks. I guess a little bit of praise and then a little bit of scolding, maybe.
If you take the half into halves, I guess the last 20 minutes, I think Matt Beard will be relieved to go in. If they do finish now at 2-2, he'll be relieved to go in with that, because the amount of chances Arsenal will create in the areas they were getting into. From a Joe Montemuro perspective, disappointed that they haven't taken those chances they've created.
2 additional minutes, we're into them now. Mead swings over across. Miedemar got a head to it. He's going to run for Bloodworth. Puts it straight at Hendricks. Longhurst should be able to get this clear for West Ham. And again, Arsenal letting it bounce, and that can be risky, because look at Lehmann putting the pressure on Valti. Too much pressure, as it turned out. For a team that are top of the table, it seems like such a basic thing. Don't let the ball bounce when it's coming your way defensively, but it's happened time and again.
Yeah, well, look, it's about taking responsibility as individual players. I'm sure that there's a strategy there, and they know what they should be doing, whether it's a lack of communication, whether it's a lack of leadership in there, you know, taking responsibility for that situation and that process that needs to happen at the time is something that I'm sure will, I'd imagine Joe will have a few harsh words about half-time. It's the simple areas of the game. Doesn't take much to solve those things.
Could you possibly give the excuse if there's a bit of rustiness because of the break? I mean, it's not really been that long for that to be a factor.
These are pro players now, you know, those things, they'll be disappointed as individual players in those situations. Like I said, you know, it's an easy part of the game for them to correct, but they have to take responsibility to deal with those situations. But, you know, it's great that West Ham have exploited it. Is it an area that they focused on prior to the game, maybe?
Longhurst looking to put Lehmann in again. McCabe in position to make sure she couldn't get there. Maybe one last chance before the whistle blows for half-time. Lehmann trying to squeeze it through for Ross. Well, there is the half-time whistle, and what an opening 45 minutes of football as the WSL resumes following the festive break. A topsy-turvy first half here at Rush Green, where it is all square. West Ham United 2, Arsenal 2. Well, what a terrific 45 minutes of football, Jane. There's some questionable defending, but for the neutral, fantastic.
Yeah, for the neutral, great. 4 goals scored within 45 minutes. Some areas of concern for both coaches. Some areas they'll be pleased with. Obviously, the finishing. For one, from a West Ham perspective, the lack of possession for West Ham may be a bit disappointing for Matt Beard. But from an Arsenal perspective, happy with certain areas, especially getting the ball into wide areas, and deliveries have been fantastic. But they haven't taken as many chances as maybe Joe Montemurro would have liked.
Let's have a look back at the best bits of the first half. Plenty to go at too. West Ham ahead with just 11 minutes on the clock. Good finish this from Ross, but a really good pick out from Lehman too. Yeah,
great movement and run from Lehman, and as you've said, great pick up, good finish. But from an Arsenal perspective, really disappointed. There's players there who've turned their back on a bouncing ball. The fact they haven't attacked it in the first place is disappointing, but then to turn their back is even worse.
Took Arsenal a while to get going in the game. They did have several opportunities to draw level.
6 seconds, you count that. Beth Mead has 6 seconds there to pick out a pass. National team player at that level, she's going to pick out a great pass, and she does so. And we've got a player at the end who's great in the air and scores a fantastic goal.
Leah Williamson for 1-1. And then her centre-half partner, again from a Mead delivery, again from this side. Very, very similar goal. And Yanni Arndt, that's the thing there, apart from good for Arndt to score in her debut. She had a free run at it.
Well, I think there's 4 players from an Arsenal perspective then that could have attacked that ball. Free runs into the box. West Ham look a little bit unsure of roles within that area. Even if they're zonal, once that ball's in flight and it's coming into their area, they have to attack it. And now we see Jane Ross, great time running, in behind the Arsenal defence. They'll be disappointed they haven't tracked that run, or they haven't seen it in the first place. Great finish there, though.
Right, so as usual on our women's football coverage, we get these stories behind the scenes, and this week we're focusing on Merseyside. In a moment, we'll hear from Everton's manager and a player, but first, let's turn our attention to Liverpool with a game of scroll and stop. This week, the spotlight falls on Laura Coombs.
Hi, I'm Laura Coombs. Right, let's have a look. This one. I think I was on holiday with Mum and Dad when I was little, and I looked like a little angel, but I was probably trying to get my way with something. This one. This was playing in La Manga for the under-23s. I think it was actually against Japan. This one of my fave pictures in my new hometown of Liverpool with one of my best friends, Katie Selham. This one's going really far back now. My mum used to send me to football with the worst haircut ever. I only go on the team. I used to boss the boys about. I'm actually I feel bad about the way I used to shout at them. One of my favourite ever photos after winning the double season with Chelsea, it was with my mum and dad. And I love their face, it's so cute, so happy. This picture, on my big day, signing for Liverpool after 5 seasons at Chelsea. So that was last April. I love this picture from last season, scoring in the Merseyside derby against Everton. It's always a fiercely contested game, and that goal was to go 1-0 up, so I was very happy, as you can see.
I'm Chloe Kelly, and this is me. I have 5 older brothers, so I always used to be playing with them and their friends, always kicking the ball about, always being told, oh, you're playing with the boys, you're playing with the boys. I was never satisfied with just the easy way, and I worked hard to get here, and now I'm at Everton Ladies, working hard and trying to perform each week. The biggest influence on my career to date is my family. They push me to work harder every week. I think being a professional footballer was always a dream for me. I see myself as a role model for the younger girls, definitely making them want to be going into their school playgrounds and playing. So when I went into camp, I was very nervous. I was speaking to my family and I was just like, oh, there's big players there, I'm really nervous. But as soon as I got on the pitch, it made me relax a bit more. But the feeling throughout the camp was just try and learn all I can. I wasn't expecting it at all. I just was called to train with the seniors, and then I got told that I'd be going out with them. My dad comes to every one of my games and he was like, should I come out to watch you? And I was like, no Dad, like I'm just going to be in the stands. And on the day of the game I found out that I'd be on the bench, and he was like, I knew I should have came. And yeah, it was a proud moment for me and my family when I got on the pitch. I weren't expecting it at all, which makes it even better. I would say to inspiring young girls, work hard, enjoy it and do all you can to impress people. No matter if it's in the playground or at home, just do all you can and enjoy it no matter what.
Interesting, Jane. Both players we heard from there, Laura Coombs and Chloe Kelly, graduates of the Arsenal Academy, and it's pretty much the most productive in women's football, isn't it? You might not make it at Arsenal, but they provide players all across the league and for national teams too. Yeah,
and you know, there's a big reason for that. Obviously, over the last 20-25 years, they've had a lot of input from the club as a whole, and a lot of financial backing, and they've developed a really good system. They're bringing, you know, youth players through, thankfully, for the game in general. There's more money in other clubs now, and better development systems, better coaches within the environment, better support systems, and what we'll see over the next 10 years is far more of the big clubs developing more youth players who then go on into different areas. But look, for me as an ex-Arsenal player, an ex-Arsenal coach, I sit here and it just makes me smile when we see things like that, and they're ex-players that I know of or have been involved in their development. It's really pleasing, it's really nice to see.
So we've heard from Everton's Chloe Kelly. The Merseyside club are under a new manager, Willie Kirk. We went up to see how his first few weeks have gone.
I think a lot of people probably, when I made the move from Manchester United to Everton, a lot of people probably questioned it. What I'm hoping the question that people had was, why would you leave such a big club as Manchester United? Because I think in their own respect, you know, I think Everton are a massive club themselves. I probably didn't realise I was missing being a number one, because I was loving my job, I was loving working with Casey and the staff at United. But when the opportunity came up to be number one again, it was something that got me thinking quite a lot about, and yeah, I wanted to get back into that sort of pressured environment of being a number one.
A new era starting under Willie Kirk, named as the new manager, having left his role as assistant to Casey Stoney of Manchester United.
It was a bit of a shock when the opportunity came up. It's not something that I had in my career plan, but when I looked into the opportunity and spoke to the club, it was something that really excited me, and it's been fantastic since I've come in.
And McGill, oh, it's another absolute beauty! And what a start to life for Willie Kirk, their new manager.
I think because it was my first game and the players' first game under me, I think that was big enough. I don't think anybody really thought too much about the derby. What we didn't, or I certainly didn't realise at the time, was it'd been 4.5 years since we'd won a derby match. And if I'd known that, I might have felt a little bit more pressure than I did, but you know, I was just really looking forward to getting on the pitch.
Okay, the yellows are locked in.
The first 2-3 training sessions, there was a real buzz about the place. There was a real sort of determination in the players. I felt that togetherness as soon as I walked in, and to be honest, it's not something that I really associated with the club, because when I played against them, being Bristol manager, it's not something that I've really seen, the strong bond between the players. The main target is probably to establish a way of working, really sort of work on our identity on and off the pitch, and then make sure recruitment's as good as possible in the summer. And for me, the real sort of targets will kick in for the 19-20 season.
Interesting there that Willie Kirk looking ahead to next season already, even though we're only halfway through this current campaign. Everton in action today at Chelsea in one of the 2 o'clock kickoffs, and you can see all the action from today in the Women's Football Show at 11:30 tonight on BBC One, or from 9 o'clock on the red button. Right then, let's go pitch side, where we'll find Kelly Summers and Rachel Brown-Finnis.
Yes, well, Rachel, Willie Kirk certainly has made a positive start to life at Everton, hasn't he?
He has a dream start with the win, the derby win, and then but after that it's gone a little bit sort of a bit more up and down. But you'd expect that at a club like Everton, a lot of young players, he's getting them to gel, and he's certainly, I think, looking for success in the upcoming season.
Looking at the other news coming out of the WSL this week, big news at Birmingham, Anne-Catherine Berger has left and gone to Chelsea. Did that surprise you at all?
It surprised me. It didn't surprise me she left because she was out of contract at the end of the year, and I think she's looking for the next challenge. Chelsea already have a wealth of goalkeepers, so it'd be interesting to see if anyone will have to move. Lizzie Durack, Carly Telford, Hedvig Lindahl, add to that Anne-Catherine Berger. You know, there's some really good goalkeepers. Whether one of those will go out on loan, it's a World Cup year. They're looking, I'm sure all of those are looking to get involved in their national team squads and be wanting to start. So there's not room for all of them.
Looking back to this game here today, what do you think? Obviously, Arsenal's defence has been breached a couple of times. What's West Ham's best opportunity of getting 3 points from this?
Well, keep doing what they're doing, which is simply they're playing the ball out to their wide players. Their full-backs are bombing on, which is causing Arsenal a problem. The only time it didn't cause them a problem and Arsenal got back into the game was when their full-backs dropped a little bit deeper and conceded ground on Arsenal. So for West Ham, Matt Beard's side, keep those full-backs high. Lehmann got in behind for the first goal to be able to square it back for the first goal. The second goal again was a textbook manoeuvre, and similarly, you know, causing problems down those wide. Because if you get wide, if you get chalk on your boots as it was and keep wide, it's pulling out the back line. So the centre halves, distances between the two centre halves for Arsenal, that leaves gaps, and that's where Jane Ross and Lehmann have got in. So more of the same from them, and to keep the energy, the enthusiasm and endeavour in defence for West Ham has been key to maintaining just to losing 2 goals. But they do need to tighten up and make sure they play for player tight when Arsenal do get into their 18-yard box.
Looking at the positives for Arsenal, what a start to life at Arsenal for Yanni Arndt with that first goal on her first start.
It was brilliant. I mean, her movement was excellent. She was completely unmarked when it came to that header. But again, a textbook header. You know, their 2 goals are almost carbon copies of each other. Arsenal's 2, you know, fantastic headers, but absolute dream start. One of the 2 signings that Arsenal have made in the January transfer window. The other one's not quite come through yet, but certainly making an impact straight away.
Well, definitely, and looking forward to an exciting second half here. The teams are back out, so we're going to head back to our commentary team of Matt and Jane.
Thanks, Kelly. Well, I wonder, Jane, if maybe attack is the best form of defence for West Ham in the second half here. If they can't close that supply line down their left-hand side, are they best just trying to add more goals to their total, or is that, I'm guessing from the look on your face, that's asking for trouble?
Look, I think what we'll see in the second half is a similar tactical setup from West Ham. Play direct, because it's worked for them so far. Try and get the ball forward as quickly as they possibly can. Defensively protect central areas, but I'm sure Matt Beard would have gone in half-time and tried to correct the wide areas defensively, because they can't keep allowing Arsenal players of the calibre and the level of players they have in their team, you know, space and time to deliver balls from wide areas. If they keep doing that, then I'm sure we'll see more Arsenal goals and problems for West Ham.
As a manager yourself, would you have wanted your players to take on that responsibility themselves on the pitch, because it was apparent that it was a problem even before the goals came?
Yeah, but look, at the end of the day, you're coming up against a team who, because they put so many players forward, especially in central areas, the back 4 right now for West Ham are trying to deal with the players they see as the ones who are more of a problem to them, and that is going to be the ones nearer their goal. But what we're seeing, because of that overload of numbers, the fullbacks for West Ham are getting drawn in to deal with those central players, leaving the wide attackers for Arsenal free, because the wingers for West Ham have such a job to do in attack and defence. You know, they're covering a vast amount of space, and physically they're finding it really challenging right now. So whether tactically West Ham change or put more focus on the winger role defensively, we'll see. It is an area they have to solve, because they can't keep giving Arsenal opportunities like this.
You would have imagined that maybe Joe Montemurro got into his players a bit, conceding so close to half-time the equaliser, but Such a basic goal, really.
Well, we're just looking at Leah Williamson here, you know, and for her, you know, one of the centre-backs in the team, one of the organisers, one of the people who have a key responsibility in organising the backline and being aware of runs and picking up players in the box and dealing with balls in the air. She'll be really disappointed with the players in front. You know, it hasn't necessarily been a centre-back issue. It's been more of a midfield issue, attacking aerial balls, and it's something they have to solve, but it's something easily solved.
No changes by either manager at half-time. See if there's any change in formation or tactics from West Ham. Oh, they're giving it away cheaply straight to Miedemar right at the start of the second half. How costly this could be is Little, who can't get a shot away. Oh, I was about to say West Ham have got away with it. They haven't yet. Really shaky defending from their home side in the first 30 seconds of the second half here. This is Beth Mead heading for the dead ball line. Good defending again from Percival. She's just about got the better of that battle so far, actually, hasn't she, Percival?
Yeah, strong defending there. You know, when you look back at the first 45 minutes, that area of the pitch not necessarily a problem for West Ham. I think right side defensively they've been strong. It's the opposite side that has caused them a few issues.
This was really sloppy right at the start of the second half. Miedemar again just a little bit reluctant to pull the trigger, unlike her.
Yeah, seen a indifferent performance from her so far. Hopefully from an Arsenal perspective, we'll see her sharpen up a little bit in the next 45 minutes.
Remember, she's 1 goal short of equaling the record of 15 in a single WSL season. Be quite extraordinary if she didn't go on to break it. Just drilled into the side netting from Little.
I'm sure the talent she has, if it doesn't happen this year, or well, I'm sure it will happen this year, it'll happen in future seasons now that she's signed a long-term contract with the club.
Spencer clipping one up toward Ross.
Yeah, interesting tactic then there from West Ham. You know, they spread as if they're about to play short, but then they play direct, which a lot of teams are doing these days. You know, if they've got a goalkeeper who can kick really accurately, then why not? Because you're getting the ball further up the pitch. But what you do have to do is get your backline up really quickly after that, in case, obviously, you don't win the first ball and then the opponents have a lot of space to use.
So that might be one of the reasons why Spencer was selected ahead of Morehouse today then.
Yeah, look, for me, it's one of the strongest attributes of Rebecca Spencer. I think she's fantastic with her feet. You know, when we used to play small-sided games, you'd hope she was on your team because she's great with her feet.
Giving it away there, though, to Van der Donk. Here's Little, looking to chip one. And right place, right time defender to get it off the line, out as far as Mead.
Just as I'm singing her praises, what a horror. That was a poor decision for her then, from her then. But they got away with it. You know, good defending, last-ditch defending there by West Ham.
Well, neither manager will be particularly happy because Arsenal have had 2 chances to exploit bad mistakes right at the start of the second half from West Ham. They haven't managed it with either of them. That's just a lack of concentration. Definitely no infringement there from Van der Donk.
I don't know, did she interfere with that right arm then as she was about to throw it? Look, it was a bad decision from Becky Spencer anyway. I don't think she should have even contemplated it.
Well, that's the question that Matt Beard is asking of the 4th official. Longhurst. There's Falti. Arndt onto a fellow goal scorer, Williamson. Not many would have predicted that Arsenal's 2 goals would have come from their 2 centre-halves today. 24 between the front 3 in the WSL before this match. Longhurst under pressure from Miedemar.
Yes, we sing her praises from a goal scoring perspective and an in-possession perspective, but she works very hard out of possession, Miedemar. Works really hard for the team to protect space and to force play into certain areas.
West Ham coming into this game with an excellent recent defensive record. Won the last 4 in all competitions, 3 in the WSL, and they kept clean sheets in all of those, but entirely different prospect facing them today. And this potent Arsenal side, coming forward with purpose again. Van der Donk dug out the cross, and Spencer under pressure from Flaherty.
Yeah, lack of communication there from obviously the goalkeeper and the centre-back. They'd be disappointing with that. That was an easy claim for Becky Spencer if she'd realised it and communicated effectively with Julie Flaherty.
Can they keep getting away with these defensive lapses, West Ham? Topsy-turvy first half, which saw the Hammers take an early lead, only for Arsenal to turn the game on its head, and then Jane Ross with her second of the game just before half-time, levelling it up at 2-2. It's been all Arsenal in the opening 5 minutes of the second half, though. And here's Miedema. Is this her moment? Flaherty able to get there.
What we've seen again there from Arsenal, what we'll probably continue to see as the half goes on, is the three attacking players really central of the pitch. And as you look at the West Ham backline, you've got your back four really narrow, within probably the width of the goal. So again, Arsenal continuing with that ploy of dragging people in centrally to create space out wide, get the ball out there and get deliveries in.
So as we spoke about in the first half then, the emphasis is on the likes of Rijkaard and Visserli and Lehmann to tuck in and help out.
Yeah, look, the West Ham wide players have a massive responsibility today with regards to defending and getting back in their own half and helping out their backline players.
Valsey switching it wide. Here's Evans. Cutting infield to get away from Rafferty, linking up with Kim Little. She carried on her run, but it's worked out wide instead. Van der Donk.
One of Arsenal's strengths this season so far has been how well they use that space in wide areas. You know, they've got two attack-minded fullbacks in the team today who have proven over the last few months that they're happy to go forwards. They're very good defenders as well when they need to be, but they're happy to go forwards and get involved more in attacks.
West Ham will be happy to let the likes of Bloodworth try their luck from that kind of distance. (4-3) to Arsenal when the teams met there in September. West Ham led twice on that day.
Yeah, and I think back to that game and interesting goals from West Ham perspective as well. One really poor decision from the Arsenal goalkeeper at one point. So obviously Arsenal have developed from that point of view. They're not making those mistakes any longer. And a really good transition goal from them where they caught Arsenal on the hop again. Lack of balance defensively, and they broke really quickly against them.
This team met in the Conti Cup last season. Arsenal 3-1 winners on the way to lifting the trophy. Both these teams in action in the quarter-final of that competition in the upcoming week. Arsenal against Birmingham, West Ham against Manchester United. Miedema, it's a cute flick. Little. Percival again did just enough to put her off. She's had a terrific game at right back.
Yeah, just thinking exactly the same. She's done a fantastic job defensively for her team today.
Played all over the world, Ria Percival. Canada, the US, Switzerland. It's a good run from Lisa Evans. Good ball as well. Miedema got something on it. Oh, and then Little with the flick. And Spencer did just about enough.
Good improvisation there from Kim Little. Really awkward ball to try and deal with on the bounce, coming far side of the goal, but obviously connected really well. The technique level she has an ability to do that, and Becky Spencer responded really well there to keep it out of the net.
Improvised shot, improvised save. Corner defended much better this time from West Ham. Ross able to get it up to safety. Here's Little, increasing influence on the game.
Arsenal will be happy to take corner after corner because, you know, if we look back at the first 45 minutes, goal scoring opportunities for them. West Ham obviously haven't changed many things from a left-hand side defensively, and as we've seen so far, 2 chances now being created from that flank.
Corner number 7 of the game for the visitors. They've scored from one of them. It's Mead again who sends it over. Good header from Flaherty. Well, already in this second half, the 2 corners Arsenal had have been dealt with much better by West Ham than the 5 in the opening 45. Here's Lehmann.
Great covering position there from centre mid for Arsenal. Valti, you know, renowned for her ability on the ball, but defensively she makes really good decisions, covers backline players when she needs to.
Flaherty. Ten minutes of the second half gone. We haven't had a goal. We wondered if Kim Little would only play the first half. We think at this stage she's got at least an hour in her, I would guess.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be mindful of protecting her, because what you don't want to do is open a player up to really high loading if she hasn't been used to that over the last few weeks. But I'm sure the club are managing that effectively, and they'll know their player inside out.
Yeah, and it's one of those as a manager and as a medical staff where you don't want to listen to the player because she'll say, no, I'm fine, I can play 90.
Look, top level players, they'll want to play as often as they can, and they'll push themselves to their limit, especially if their team aren't winning a game. They want to be winning a game.
Van der Donk in field for Little.
Now, this day and age with GPS and how well the players are managed, you'd expect the club to be monitoring that now as the game goes on. And they'll have a load-in target for all their players, not just Kim Little.
Loading target is my new favourite football phrase.
Yeah, look, it's great to sit here as a coach in the female game, and we're talking about management of players in a professional way. You know, it's happened in the men's game for many years. They've had the support systems, they've had the finances to have sports scientists and monitor their players effectively, and now it's happening in most top-level clubs for the females, which is great for individual players because it's going to give them longevity of their careers. They can be managed better, more effectively from a medical perspective too.
Now opportunity here maybe. Van der Donk's cross looking for Miedemar. Managed to get there ahead of Percival.
Oh, that was a first-time opportunity as well again. Look, I'm not here to criticise that player because I think she's a fantastic goal scorer, but she'll look back on the opportunity she's had today, and I think she has an ability to take that first-time left foot, hit it across the goalkeeper, that's a goal.
She's been tentative in the way of a striker who's gone 5-10 games without a goal, rather than one who's got 14 in the league this season and 29 in 28 since joining us.
Yeah, look, in her head, she's probably analysing that as it's coming over. I'm going to take it on the bounce. I'm going to take one touch this way. I'm going to drop a shoulder. And it's in the back of the net. At the end of this, she has her thought process as a centre forward. And I'm not here to criticise that. But I do look at that and go, oh, my God, that was an opportunity to get another goal.
Okay, happy to accept a throw here. Now, referee's got some sorting out to do here. McCabe was trying to make the point that Lehmann wasn't letting her take the throw. It's not been a difficult game for Will Finney to referee so far. This is the first flashpoint we've seen, I think.
Yeah, what you do see in the female game is obviously females like to talk. They'll be talking to him all the way through the game, many of the players, but generally in a far more respectful way than maybe some look at the top level of the male game at times.
Here's Williamson, scorer of the first Arsenal goal. Both headers from crosses on West Ham's left. Seem to have cut off that supply line to a certain extent.
As we're saying that, look at the time and space now that Lisa Evans has to drive inside.
And look at the space for Miedemar again. First touch wasn't great. Put it through the legs of Percival. It's McCabe's cross, deflected all the way through. Surely 3-2, indeed it is. Danielle Van der Donk scores against West Ham again. Her 4th goal against the Hammers this season. And Arsenal, just before the hour, have their lead back.
Well, if you look at the build-up to this goal, it's coming again from that West Ham left side, and we've got fullbacks forcing inside into an area of danger. And look, at the end of the day, with the balls managed to go across the whole width of the goal to Miedemar. And then it's a bit, a bit scrappy, but what a great position from Van der Donk far side. West Ham players haven't managed to see the run, and the ball's managed to get through all those defenders somehow.
And Van der Donk, the kind of season she's had, was never going to pass up that opportunity. That is 9 goals in 11 WSL games this season. Miedemar's taken a lot of the headlines, but that's quite a contribution from her fellow Dutch international.
Yeah, I think back to the games, you know, so far in the season, as I mentioned earlier, I think that there's different games you can focus on. You'll pick out the different star for Arsenal. Van der Donk has performed fantastically well this year. But you wouldn't actually say any of those players have been standout. They've all been great. I think before Jordan Nobbs had her injury, you'd go, oh, player of the season, massively player of the season, because she was involved so much in and out of possession. And scoring goals for fun as well, unfortunately for her and for fans of the WSL and the English national team. She's got a long-term injury, and the good thing for the club is they've got enough quality to be able to cover her while she's out.
Can they hold on to the lead this time? Not seen much of West Ham as an attacking force since half-time. Van der Donk looking for the give and go. Referee had a good think about that and decided there was no foul. Lehmann will bring it clear. Vissely's a willing runner, but she's not going to get that ahead of Williamson.
Good cover position there from Leah Williamson, the Arsenal centre-back.
Wonder how fit Simic is, and if Matt Beard will be thinking about getting her on before too long.
Yeah, look, we sit here, you know, I'm an admirer of the player, whether she is injured or not, or whether Matt Beard thinks that he has, you know, players who can do a better job in this game, who knows. But she is a quality German player with great technique, breaks up play really effectively. So would hopefully pinch back more balls for West Ham.
Plenty of options on the bench today for him. Minter has come on and scored goals this season. Kiernan and Simon also available as outfield replacements.
Yeah, and that's a nice luxury for him to have, because there's been times within the season, as other clubs have been in a similar situation, where there's been maybe 2 players on the bench, which is not great for any manager to have that situation.
Without the injured Esme de Graaf today. Well, Joe Montemurro will feel that having scored 3 goals away from home, his team should win this game. West Ham United, not to mention Manchester City, Chelsea and others, hoping that that is not the case.
Yeah, and you can just hear him in the background shouting press, 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 encouraging Van der Donk to keep the pressure on Percival there.
It's a dream job for him. He is a boyhood Arsenal fan.
As a coach, I really enjoyed watching his team play this year, because he's tactically he makes some little changes with regards to roles that he's given certain players in certain positions against different systems that they come up against. You know, this day and age, when you watch the top level of the female game, there's some really well-qualified coaches. Tactically, they have different preferences, and to watch how he pits his team against them has been really intriguing, and I've learned a lot from watching what he does.
Yeah, we talk a lot about the standard of the players, but the standard of the coaches in WSL this season, arguably the highest it's ever been.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll keep growing. You know, all elements of the game, hopefully for all the players coming through, all the support systems that they have regarding staff and personnel, hopefully, you know, they'll keep growing, and there'll be more for each club going forwards. You look at WSL clubs right now, they'll have the basic staff group of the coaches, you know, the medical staff, but hopefully in the future, as more money, more sponsorship, more interest in the female game happens, we'll see that staff group grow. Because, you know, you stand there as a manager, the more coaches you can have around you that you trust and are qualified to a very high level, obviously the better for all your players and the better for your team.
Corner for Arsenal means another threat for West Ham, with a good delivery as well. Really have dealt with them better though so far, second half. The Hammers swung back in from Mead. Spencer came and then changed her mind, and Arsenal have themselves a 2-goal cushion. It's Van der Donk at the double. She just loves a goal against West Ham, and the league leaders have some breathing space.
Well, they dealt with obviously the first delivery coming in here, but then you talk about wide areas for West Ham, defensive third again. Reaction, Lehman's half-heartedly going out to press and stop at a source, but then, you know, delivery coming in. Those defenders can see that flight of the ball. You know, as Becky Spencer come out and shouted, if she has, obviously there's an issue there. If she hasn't, why aren't they attacking the ball? Why aren't they stopping that run? That's way too easy for Van der Donk. Well, maybe not the smallest, but she's not one of the biggest on the pitch.
Well, she's on a hat-trick against West Ham for the second time this season. Arsenal have really moved up a gear since half-time. Sloppy at times, certainly defensively in the first half. They haven't let West Ham anywhere near their goal, and they've been efficient with their chances in a way that they weren't in the opening 45. Another Beth Mead assist.
She's having a great game. Yeah, people will talk about Beth Mead and go, oh, goal scorer. You know, they'll think of her days in the past with Sunderland and as a youngster coming through, really aggressive player in a good way. When I played against her, obviously I was very old at the time, she was very young, but she caused us lots of problems back then. She's still doing it for teams, but in a different way now. She's a more mature player. You know, she has other areas to her game, not just goal scoring, and she's been a great addition to the Arsenal team now. She's been there for quite a few seasons now.
Here come Arsenal again, they're not done yet. Sampson trying to hold off Bloodworth. Might be a long 25 minutes or so for West Ham here. Williamson will tell you she meant that. Here's Rafferty.
You can hear Matt Beard in the background shouting, you know, get hold of it, keep the ball. He wants his team to possess the ball far better than they are doing right now. I think alongside that, you'll probably want them to up the tempo of their possession too. They're taking a long time to make the decision on their pass, which is allowing Arsenal then to get compact and get ready to pinch the next pass, which they're doing quite a lot of the time in the midfield third.
Problem here for Beth Mead. It might just be cramped by the looks of things rather than a strain. Certainly hope that's the case.
I'm sure the Arsenal medics are hoping the same as well, because they've probably got enough to deal with and cope with right now. Where's the bucket and sponge?
Used to be the cure-all. Well, 3/4 of the way through this match, it's taken Arsenal a while to warm up to it. Changes afoot for West Ham.
Well, he'll obviously want his team to get back in this game, and you know, they've proven in the first 45 minutes they can score goals against this Arsenal team. Interesting to see for the last 20 minutes now if he tactically changes anything. Personnel, does he change? Does he get some fresh legs on there? Try and compete in certain areas? Look, no manager's happy to lose a game, so he won't be sitting there going, oh, well, let's keep it a 4-2. You'll want to try and get back in this game, but the challenge for all managers in this situation is if you put a lot of emphasis in one area of attacking, you're going to expose space for the opposition to utilise even more against you. So sometimes it's just a swap, you know, like for like personnel, and hopefully the fresh legs will change something.
Might there come a point where he thinks, well, we've got a big game midweek against Man United, chance to reach the semi-final of a cup competition. Maybe you take a couple, you know, Jane Ross or somebody off and get them rested for Wednesday. Fairly safe position in the league.
Yeah, you're right. It's an interesting week for them. I think they have a certain amount of pressure on them as a club, because any team in the WSL 1 environment now come up against Man United. There's a lot of pressure on them to compete against what's a really good developing outfit, the Man United. You know, they have a lot of financial backing, they have a good support system. Obviously Casey's doing a great job there, and it's going to be a tough challenge for them, because as the team in the top tier, they'll want to go out there and win that game.
Here's Miedemar. Still 20 minutes for her to get her goal. Spencer maybe a bit lucky with her clearance there.
A lot of time and space here for Bloodworth to use in the Arsenal midfield.
West Ham maybe starting to look a bit tired now.
There's spaces opening up in central areas that might not have been there in the first half.
Here come Arsenal looking threatening again. Miedema, can she get a toe on that? If she had done, it would have been really difficult for Spencer. Another great delivery. We've seen some fantastic balls from wide areas from both sides, but particularly from Arsenal. Well, Pauline Perret-Magnon could have had a pipe and slippers on in the second half. Count the number of times she's touched the ball on one hand.
Yeah, and you do, you know, you sit here as a coach and you question, why have West Ham changed? Direct worked. And look, they're looking to possess their ball, final third, and for me, I think that's a better option, but maybe they need to be more accurate with it. You know, the detail they put on their direct play worked in the first half. It seems like they've gone away from that, and I'd question why. Because that was actually where they were exploiting Arsenal and where they've created their goal-scoring opportunities from. Arsenal would be happy for them just to keep the ball here because they're not going to actually challenge their own goal.
Here's Percival, can she cross halfway? Did go direct, asked Ross to run, but it was too straight. A frustrating second half for Jane Ross. Of course, she's on a hat-trick too, but she's had no opportunity to complete it.
Yeah, they're quite fluid as a front three as well. If you look, number 7, 15 and 9 out there, the front line of West Ham. You know, they alternate positions. Sometimes Jane Ross is through the centre. Sometimes she's doing the defensive job out wide. She's flipped a lot positionally today with Vasily, who for most of the season so far has actually played as a centre mid player, so a different challenge for her today.
Inside the final 20 minutes now, still no substitutions from either manager.
You can see the midfielder of West Ham there just looking up, Rijkaard I believe it was, looking up for that direct run, but there's obviously not a run happening in front of her. She wants to be able to play that channel ball, but there's not an option there. So whether it's movement to the front three in front, or whether it's actually better organisation defensively from Arsenal.
Maybe a sign of West Ham's frustration in the second half there from Vasily.
She's worked really hard through this game. You know, you can't fault her commitment and work ethic, as you'd say from all the West Ham players. Just they've been caught out defensively in some key areas.
Ouch, painful for Little, who's still out there. First appearance since injury in October, remember. Rafferty just about kept that in play. Williamson, cool as you like, back to her keeper.
Yeah, it is a little bit unusual, I guess, first came back, but we were talking about GPS and loading earlier. Look, I'm not sure what system Arsenal have. If they have the pitch side system, they're obviously monitoring a GPS live, and if they're doing that, then that's probably why she's still on. Maybe a loading actually hasn't been that high today. You know, Kim's renowned for her attacking game, but she works extremely hard defensively. But if you look at how this game has gone for the second half, she's had very little to do defensively. So the amount that she's actually loading is probably quite low, hence why they're happy to keep her on.
Loading is fatigue, essentially, is it?
It's basically how much stress you put in your body through, you know, and clubs will monitor lots of different factors with regards to that. How much players are running, how quickly they're turning.
Lehman's ball is going to come all the way through to Ross. Oh, she hasn't had a sight of goal throughout this second half. She had one there.
Oh, great run from Kim Little. Is it going to it? No, Miedema's getting on the end of it. Great timed run then from Kim. Definitely onside from her first look.
And she can get a tap in here. Oh, it came to her so quickly she couldn't sort her feet out. And Spencer breathes a sigh of relief.
That was a glimpse of the interplay and the connection you have as a Arsenal forward with the runs of Kim Little, but Miedema creating the space for her to use in the first place. I thought this was goal. I'm sure she'll look back at that opportunity and be disappointed with that finish. But, you know, at the end of the day, let's not be too harsh. Her first game back in quite a while.
Scored 4 times in the league this season, Kim Little.
Remember when Kim first joined the club as a young, sprightly centre mid player from Scotland, who, if I'm honest, I didn't know anything about her. I know who she was, but first training session, first game involved with us, you know, you realise that she was one heck of a talent, and she's gone on to do great things with the club and with the national team. Unfortunately for her, missed some key games for the national team over the last few years, but they'll be hoping that she'll be fit come the World Cup, and hopefully she'll do really well in that environment too.
15 to go. Just signs of life from West Ham in the last few minutes. And Arsenal looking there, they've got more goals in them too.
But they're competing, which is a great sign, you know, as a team. They're still in this game, you know, all right, they're 2 goals down, but there's still a good 15 minutes left to play. But pressing like this isn't going to help them get back in the game, if I'm honest, obviously. Are they settling for this result right now, or is Matt just being a bit more sensible and protecting space where it's most dangerous, and that's just in front of their goal?
Rafferty's header.
Interesting, yeah, because you've got about 4 or 5 West Ham players in front, or nearly in front of the ball, but they're in the middle third of the pitch, which means there's a lot of space somewhere. Arsenal nearly utilised that to good effect then.
Yeah, get the feeling the West Ham analysts are going to be busy over the next couple of days breaking this game down.
It's always interesting to see what coaches focus on. You know, we're all different. We have different philosophies. We have a different thought process, whether you're talking in attack, in defence, set plays, organisation. Matt Beard will definitely have some key focus areas that he'll want to adjust going into the next game. Obviously a big important game for them. I'm sure they'll want to keep a cup run going.
Yellow card there for Danny van der Donk, the first booking of the game for the challenge on Flaherty. Flaherty being Flaherty, no complaints whatsoever about it, just dusted herself down.
It's one of them as a centre-back, you do it to others, you kind of take it. As long as it's not dirty, it's just tough, it's you know, aggressive from van der Donk.
Rafferty lifting it over the top for Vissely to chase. Ross looking to put the pressure on.
Great composure there from Leah Williamson, you know, just in her own box, very close to her own goal, comfortable to just take the ball and take it across the original press to Jane Ross.
They haven't been put under anywhere near the same pressure in the second half, but when they have, they've looked much more composed, that Arsenal backline, than they did in the first, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, and it's what you're going to expect. At the end of the day, you've got a new player in that backline who hasn't been at the club very long, getting used to players. Could be a language issue as well. I don't actually know. But what we've seen is a bit of a transformation, to be honest, in 70 minutes of our first game. I think you look at that backline right now and they look really composed and comfortable with each other.
Evans teeing it up for Mead. Had to swing it over first time. That went straight into Rafferty. It's knocked her out cold by the looks of things.
Bit of a stinger on a winter's afternoon.
Dazed and confused, but she'll be okay. Full force from all of about a yard away. That's another Arsenal corner incoming. And that has spelt trouble on several occasions for West Ham in this game.
Yeah, so if you look at West Ham's setup right now, because we have a bit of time to look at it, we have zonal players in and around your 6 yards, but then you've got West Ham players quite close and they're connecting with Arsenal players defensively, but they're just letting them run off them, and they're still doing it now. Something that the coaches of West Ham will, I'm sure, want to try and correct in the upcoming games.
It was the poorest corner of the day by a distance. Lehmann maybe rather harshly penalised there. Maybe not. yellow card as well. To go. Arsenal seemingly set for another win. 10 from 11 it would be. Here's Little. Looking increasingly likely that she's going to play the 90.
I'm sure the club will be very happy to have her back fit. I don't believe she's been called into the Scotland squad for the next round of friendly games in January, which is obviously something the club and the Scotland national team have agreed for the best of the player, to ensure that obviously she keeps progressing fitness levels. I'm sure Shelley Kerr will want to see some of the players perform as well, as she has to pick a competitive squad now for the World Cup in the next few months.
Yeah, they've got a training camp in La Manga and they'll play a couple of friendlies while they're out there. Another big game coming up for West Ham next weekend. And Manchester City come here and they go away to Liverpool to finish the month off in terms of their league fixtures. Arsenal have got Chelsea at home next. Remember, they hammered them 5-0 away earlier in the season.
Yeah, and Chelsea are a team, I guess, people are not expecting to get back into the title challenge. You know, they have quite a few points to still pick up, but you know, football is a strange game. There's a lot of games left to play for both Arsenal and Man City, and Chelsea could be playing a part in that title race.
And they've got such a vastly experienced squad, haven't they? And experience of chasing down a lead as well as leading from the front.
Well, Emma Hayes is a competitor, and you know, her whole squad of players are competitors. They're driven, and they'll be disappointed with the start they made in this campaign, but they'll want to try and, you know, correct as many things as they can and pick up as many points as they can in the next round of games.
First change of the game. It's taken until the 83rd minute of it to arrive. It is Arsenal who are going first in that change. Lisa Evans races run.
Yeah, and they're just probably managing a player there because she's played a heck of a lot of minutes so far in the season. And obviously giving game time to other players involved, because I'm sure they're going to need their whole squad by the end of the season.
It's Louise Quinn, the Republic of Ireland international, who's come on to take her place.
Not generally known as a fullback, Louise Quinn. Tough tackling centre-back.
Spencer taking her time. That 6-second rule soon got forgotten about, didn't it? Nice skills from Montemurro on the touchline.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing now from an Arsenal backline is they've just pushed Leah Williamson out into a right-back position, who's probably a bit more accomplished with the ball and happier to go forwards maybe than Louise Quinn. And here she is just picking the ball up just over the halfway line.
Looking for Little, but Sampson was able to get ahead to it. Here's Bloodworth. Took it away from Longhurst. Chance for another Mead delivery here. Rafferty got the block in again. Not once bitten, twice shy from Claire Rafferty.
Well, what West Ham are doing better, I mean, in the last 15-20 minutes now, is they're actually putting pressure on in those wide areas. They're affecting the delivery coming in, not just trying to deal with the delivery when it's coming into the 6-yard. They're actually trying to stop the delivery in the first place.
Bit of variety on this corner.
And as I say that, we have a free player ready to deliver.
And Arndt chipping over the bar, looking for a second of the game. Well, it didn't take much for Arsenal to unsettle West Ham there. I was going to ask you how Yanni Arnford done on her Arsenal debut, but it's kind of a difficult one to assess because she's not had much pressure put on her in the second half.
It's a very different game we're watching now, the second 45 compared to the first. Obviously they had a few areas to deal with first half, Arsenal defenders, with regards to direct play and dealing with aerial balls and getting organised defensively. Far less of that to do second half.
There's Percival. Maybe they could put the visiting defence under some pressure in the last 5 minutes. Lehmann's left-footed cross. Williamson away. Well, Manchester City will be well aware of what's going on here. They're at Bristol City in the 3 o'clock kick-off today. We'll have to respond to this Arsenal win if it is to be that. There's still time for West Ham to stage a late comeback.
This isn't something you want to see if you're a West Ham fan right now. Lehmann actually looks in quite a bit of pain there. Hopefully it's not anything serious, but the response looks like that's something quite painful.
They look fairly innocuous, and those can be the really worrying ones. She's back up on her feet.
She's worked really hard today. You know, some things have come off, some things haven't. She's an exciting young talent, and over the next few seasons, hopefully she stays within the WSL over the next few years, and we enjoy seeing her development too.
Well, Ross would still like to take the match ball home. Looks like she's favourite to hit this.
Yeah, we could have an interesting last 5 minutes if this does go in.
Perry Magnon's organised her wall. Hardly had a save to make in the second half, the Arsenal keeper. Will she be called into action here? Well, straight into the wall.
Yeah, and an effective wall does its job there. We do see is Arsenal still wanting to score more goals though and get the ball out into play as quick as they possibly can.
And actually, with how tight the league is, goal difference could be a factor.
Yeah, and well, they've scored a heck of a lot of goals so far within the league programme. Obviously, it's in their nature, it's in their DNA, for want of another word, as a club. But there will be times, you know, if you're on the side of the pitch right now from a management perspective, you're just wanting 3 points. You know, you want to hold this game. You want the 3 points at the end of it. That's the most important thing for the club.
13 more than Manchester City as it stands. I mean, you can call that an extra point, effectively.
Yeah, it's a tough one for Manchester City to try and, you know, get back in the race with regards to goal difference. But it can be done. You know, we've seen results so far in this season. There's a heck of a lot of goals scored at times against some of the lower teams in the league.
Good tackle that on Williamson. Van der Donk putting Hendricks under pressure. Poor mistake from the West Ham defender. Van der Donk for little. This to seal it. And somehow it didn't go in. Deflection takes it behind for a corner.
Poor decision there from a West Ham perspective. Obviously Hendricks, left side centre back there. It's a really bad decision. Luckily for her, her team have recovered, and Becky Spencer makes a great save at the end.
See Van der Donk just thinking, any chance of a shot here, I'm desperate to get my hat-trick. This is the 12th corner of the match for Arsenal. And final 90 seconds of the 90 minutes. Game works short. Miedemar back for Mead. Swung over a brilliant ball. Good defending from Rafferty. Beth Mead, I mean, recently got into the England squad. Phil Neville will be watching on and thinking that is a great option in the wide areas.
It's an interesting year for them. You know, they go into, obviously they were in our campaign, they did really well. It's an interesting year for Phil Neville with regards to the squad he selects to go to the World Cup. Some good young players coming through for them as a nation. Yeah, it's an interesting year. You know, everybody listening will want England to do very well when they get to that finals tournament. They've probably got a little bit of work to do now, between now and then, to make sure that they have the right squad that goes, because they have a heck of a lot of players to choose from.
Very diplomatic.
I'd love to have that amount of players to choose from. I'm jealous. No, you know, you sit here as national team manager and you look at those bigger nations who have been in tournaments after tournaments, and you know, we're in a very different position. For us, the challenge is to get to a tournament in the first place. For England, the challenge is to win a tournament. You know, they've got so close in previous campaigns. A challenge for Phil and his team is to select the right players and the players to go and perform when it's needed.
Into stoppage time here. A goal for West Ham would surely only be to reduce the deficit rather than set up a comeback. 3 additional minutes.
Yeah, the tempo has completely gone out of the game now, isn't it? The last 10 minutes. We see West Ham trying to high press and trying to pinch the ball back in the opposition half to try and create a goal scoring opportunity, but nothing clear cut so far.
Sampson. Lehman, lovely drop of the shoulder. It's come back Sampson's way. Worked it out for Rafferty. Hooked it in first time. Excellent delivery, that.
Yeah, completely off balance, but great delivery at the end of it. Unfortunately for West Ham, they couldn't actually contact in the box.
Bisley and McCabe might not be wishing each other Happy New Year at the end of this game.
There's been some interesting battles today, and you know, one player we haven't spoken about is Katie McCabe, who's playing as a fullback, and she's, you know, national team wise and for most of the season at Arsenal, she's renowned for her attacking game, and she's played further up the pitch. At times she's played in central midfield, but most of the time in a wide area further forward. But she's done a great job today.
Well, Kim Little has pretty much seen out the game. She's replaced right at the end here by the England under-17 international Ava Kukin.
Good to see some young players coming through within the Arsenal setup.
Bloodworth. Call it a professional job from Arsenal in the second half in a way that we didn't see.
Yes, definitely in the second half. First half, I'm sure there were areas that weren't what they would have liked them to be, but they've dominated the game second half and restricted West Ham to very few opportunities.
Percival. He was fouled there by her friend McCabe. Final 30 seconds. This will be the last chance of the match. Rafferty ran over it. One off the training ground here. Rafferty going to go for goal.
Oh, that was an interesting one. Difficult for Rafferty with regards to her approach run afterwards to try and get some power on the ball, but worth trying. Unfortunately for them, didn't come off today.
Nor in the broader scheme of things. Arsenal back to winning ways in WSL. The league leaders going 3 points clear ahead of Manchester City's game later on today. Again, Danny van der Donk starring against West Ham. 2 second-half goals for her. It was all square at the break, but Arsenal pulled away in the second 45. They've won it by 4 goals to 2. Well, Jane, in summary, a game of 2 halves, as somebody once said. Arsenal a bit ropey in the first, but they really took the game away from West Ham in the second.
Yeah, great performance second half from Arsenal. Obviously, they keep pushing now and keep their gap at the top of the league. West Ham, you know, some really good areas from them, but some disappointing areas, some areas they need to tighten up on prior to their next game against Man United in the Cup run. Defensively, you know, certain areas they definitely need to alter if they're going to keep picking up points in this WSL 1 season.
Well, plenty for both coaches to learn from this match, I think. West Ham really good going direct in the second half, but couldn't lay a glove on Arsenal after the restart. As for Arsenal, well, maybe not at their brilliant best for periods of this game, but they've done what title-winning teams do. They've made sure that they have picked up 3 points here. So it's over to Manchester City to see what they can do. Remember, we'll have all the best of today's action on the Women's Football Show, 11:30 p.m. on BBC One, or from 9 o'clock on the red button. From Jane Ludlow and myself, Matt Davis-Adams, say thanks for your company this afternoon. Terrific 90 minutes of entertainment in the WSL. It finished here at Rush Green. West Ham United 2, Arsenal 4. We'll see you again soon.